Buy now, pay later sounds like one of the greatest financial inventions of the modern world. One click and what you want is already yours. No upfront cost, no waiting, no visible pain. Just small, harmless monthly payments. And in that moment, it feels like you've figured something out, like you've outsmarted the system, like you've unlocked a smarter way to live. But what if the exact opposite is true? What if this smart shortcut is actually the system working perfectly, exactly as it was designed to work? Let's slow this down. You're online, you see something you like, a phone, a watch, a chair, anything. The price is $300. For a split second, your mind reacts. Not emotionally dramatic, just a subtle pause, a hesitation. Do I need this? Should I wait? Is this worth it? That small resistance you feel, that's not confusing. That's protection. In behavioral economics, there's something called the pain of paying. When you spend money, especially in a noticeable amount, your brain doesn't treat it as a neutral action. It triggers a response similar to physical discomfort. Not imaginary, not symbolic, real neural activity. Your brain interprets spending as loss, as something leaving your control. And that discomfort is important because it forces evaluation. It slows impulse. It creates friction between desire and action. And friction is often what protects your future self from your impulsive self. But then something changes. Right under the price, you see it. Or 4 payments of $75. And instantly, the entire experience shifts. The $300 disappears from your perception. It no longer feels like a real cost. It becomes something else entirely. Smaller, lighter, easier, manageable, safe. And without even realizing it, your brain relaxes. The resistance is gone. The hesitation fades. The decision becomes easier. And you click Buy. Nothing about the product changed. Nothing about your income changed. Nothing about its value changed. Only one thing changed, the way the cost was framed. And that single change is enough to override your natural financial caution. This is the core mechanism behind Buy Now, Pay Later. It does not reduce prices, it reduces perceived pain. And when perceived pain goes down, spending goes up. Because your brain does not naturally calculate total financial exposure. It does not think in annual budgets or long-term obligations. It thinks in moments, in small units of experience. So instead of seeing $300, your mind sees $75, and $75 feels like something you can handle right now. This is where the illusion begins. Because now you are no longer making one decision. You are making 4 separate micro-decisions across time. Each one feels disconnected from the others. Each one feels insignificant in isolation. And that fragmentation is the entire advantage of the system. Now imagine this pattern repeating, not once, not twice, but across dozens of purchases. $25 here, $40 there, $15 subscription, $60 installment. Individually, none of them feel threatening. Each one passes the "this is fine" test in isolation. But your bank account experiences them together, silently accumulating in the background, until one day you realize a large portion of your income is already spoken for before it even arrives. And this is where the real shift happens, because at that point you are no longer actively deciding your spending. You are managing the consequences of past decisions. Your financial present becomes a reflection of your past impulses. And the structure of Buy Now, Pay Later makes that easy to miss, because it organizes spending into categories that feel separate. Phone payment, clothes installment, subscription plan, small loan. Each one feels independent, but structurally, they all come from the same source, your future income. Now zoom out. Let's say those small payments add up to $175 a month. That doesn't sound extreme in isolation, but over a year, that's $2,100. Now imagine that pattern across multiple overlapping services and purchases. Suddenly, what felt like small manageable payments becomes a significant financial commitment. But here's the deeper layer most people never see. The real cost is not just the money spent, it is the opportunity cost. Every dollar locked into repayments is a dollar that cannot be used elsewhere, cannot be saved, cannot be invested, cannot compound. Because money is not just about spending power today, it is about what that money could become tomorrow. If redirected into investments, even modest ones, those same amounts could grow over time, not dramatically overnight, but significantly over years. And that's the part buy now, pay later hides completely. It removes the feeling of sacrifice. It removes the awareness of long-term loss. It replaces both with short-term comfort. And that's why it is so effective, because it aligns perfectly with human psychology. Humans are not built for long-term optimization by default. We are built for immediate feedback loops, immediate reward, immediate relief. And buy now, pay later systems exploit that design perfectly. No friction, no waiting, no visible consequence at the moment of action. Only satisfaction, only access, only reward. But the consequence does not disappear, it only gets delayed. And when consequences are delayed, they become harder to connect to the original decision. That is why people often feel like their money just disappears. It does not disappear, it fragments into dozens of small, forgotten commitments, each one justified individually, together, collectively limiting. And there's another hidden layer, mental load. Because every recurring payment, no matter how small, occupies cognitive space. Even if automated, even if forgotten temporarily, your brain tracks it in the background. Due dates, balances, notifications, uncertainty. Did that go through? Is this still active? Am I close to my limit? This creates constant low-level financial noise, and noise reduces clarity. It makes long-term planning harder. It shifts attention away from growth decisions towards maintenance decisions. Instead of thinking, how do I increase income? How do I invest better? How do I build wealth? You start thinking, can I cover this month? What is already deducted? Where is my money going? And that shift is subtle but powerful. Because wealth is not only about income, it is about attention. Where your attention goes financially determines where your money goes behaviorally. And buy now, pay later quietly redirects that attention away from accumulation and towards fragmentation. But here's the most important realization. This system is not forcing you to do anything. It is simply removing friction. And in doing so, it amplifies your existing impulses, which means the real control was never external. It was always internal. The moment you understand this pattern, your decisions start to change. You stop asking, can I afford the monthly payment? And you start asking, would I still buy this if I had to pay the full amount right now? That single shift reintroduces friction, and friction restores awareness. Because without friction, spending feels weightless, and anything that feels weightless gets repeated without thought. The truth is simple. Most financial pressure does not come from one big mistake. It comes from repeated small decisions that felt insignificant at the time. And over time, those small decisions compound in the opposite direction of wealth. Not loudly, not dramatically, but quietly and consistently. So the real question is not whether buy now, pay later is good or bad. The real question is whether you are aware of what it removes from your decision-making process. Because once you see how it works, the illusion disappears. And once the illusion disappears, the behavior naturally changes. Not because you are restricted, but because you are finally seeing the full cost clearly. And in finance, clarity is control.